As we already know, um, faux news has learned nothing from the January 6th Klan riot, with the Minion lawsuit showing. Now, despite the violent Klan insurrection and massive lawsuits, the network has only intensified its fascist propaganda. Um, and the Minion voting machines is not fucking around. It's not just that the company has sued Faux for $1.6 billion, arguing that the company's promotion of Donald Trump's big lie also meant defaming the ballot box manufacturers. Dominion voting clearly plans to draw out the public humiliations of Faux, and one shocking court filing at a time, exposing just how much Faux knowingly lies to its audience and how little they care if their actions get people hurt or killed. Now, after last week's document dump that included text from the racist piece of shit Tucker Carlson trying to fire a reporter for telling the truth about who won the 2020 election, Dominion is back this week with another doozy. Now focused on Faux chairman Rupert Murdoch and how he knew exactly what his company was doing when they repeatedly floated conspiracy theories falsely accusing President Joe Biden of stealing the election, which Joe Biden did not steal the election. The latest filing also reveals something new. The Faux, which they really don't have any leadership, had a very good idea of the hazards of hyping up Trump's big lie, but they were motivated by profit and desire for GOP victory, and they fucking did it anyway. Now, as their behavior since then has shown, Faux executive and host have learned nothing from either the January 6th Klan insurrection or from the Dominion lawsuit itself. Now, if anything, the company's commitment to stoke in the fascist sentiment and violence inciting disinformation has only deepened further. Now, reading through the latest filing, one really sees how Murdoch and other Faux leadership weren't just aware that Trump's big lie wasn't true, but they knew that it was fucking dangerous and they kept touting it anyway. Now, Rupert Murdoch himself called it a danger, and an internal document showed leadership worried the big lie undermines faith in our democracy and faith in the nation. Now, former Republican Speaker of the House and current Faux board member Paul Ryan had warned that the election lies were a threat to the company's financial future as well to the country and for the conservative movement itself. As Trump's coup went on, anxieties rose within the company over the role, and they were planning on amplifying that big lie. On January 5th, Rupert and Scott discussed whether insanity, the racist piece of shit Tucker Carlson, and the racist cunt Laura Ingraham should say some version of the election is over and Joe Biden won, but the court filing read, he hoped that those words would go a long way to stop the Trump myth that the election was stolen, which it didn't stop them from promoting it. Now, rather than go forward with it and risk pissing off the viewers, ultimately no statement was ever released, and the next day was January 6th, the document read. Now, this is the pattern that echoes throughout this court filing and previous ones. And internally, Faux leadership expressed worry about the risks of hyping up that big lie, but the pressure from viewers and from departments like the brand protection unit would convince them to stick it out. Then the Klan insurrection accelerated the crisis of faith with Trump. Internally, there was talk of a course correction and pivoting away from Trump. Ryan said he had been hopeful that the events of January 6th were also shocking, so that it would help the conservative movement and Faux move on from Donald Trump. As the pedophile Matt Gaetz of Media Matters tweeted in a sarcastic understatement in response to the filing, this did not really happen. On January 5th, 2021, Rupert and Smith discussed a joint statement from the racist piece of shit and from the racist piece of shit Hannity, the racist piece of shit Carlson, and the racist cunt Laura Ingraham, admitting that Biden won to stop the Trump myth that the election was stolen. It didn't happen. Now these are two tweets that the pedophile Matt Gaetz put out. Rupert understood that Faux could do something about the false claims, and indeed, he believed Faux was uniquely positioned to state the message that the election was not stolen. Example 600, or something like that. Now, on January 5th, Rupert and Scott discussed whether the racist piece of shit Hannity, Carlson, and the racist cunt Laura Ingraham should say some version of the election is over and Joe Biden won. And then it said EX277. He hoped these words would go a long way to stop the Trump myth that the election was stolen. And Scott and Rupert had basically said that privately they were all there, but we need to be careful about using the shows and pissing off the viewers. And then the other thing was that about people pivoting away from Trump, which did not happen. The Capitol mob foe led the way. Um, Patton followed up with an email stating, I do think that foe needs a course correction." And Rupert responded with, "Foe needs very busy pivoting. We want to make Trump a non-person." Um, and then that's really go on and so on and so on. So, if anything, the past 2 years have only shown that Foe is doubling down on Trumpism, and the strategic deployment of disinformation. But instead of facing up to the role that they played on amplifying the lies that led to the January 6th Klan riot, the network pivoted towards minimizing and making excuses for the January 6th Klan riot. Now, often their rhetoric contradicts itself. Sometimes they pretend the violent Klan insurrection was merely a peaceful protest, which was anything but that. Now, other times they admit it was violent, but pretend the rioters were actually FBI agents or Antifa just trying to make Trump supporters look bad. We don't need to make the Trump sycophants look bad. They can do that all by themselves by doing the stupid shit that they do. Now, even more amazingly, despite the $1.6 billion lawsuit that Foe was facing, the network continues to hype that big lie. Now, just this past June, for instance, the racist piece of shit Tucker Carlson ran a segment suggesting that it's ridiculous to believe that Biden got 10 million more votes than Barack Obama got. It's actually 14 million more votes, and the reasons are simple. Population growth plus the desire to throw out Trump motivated the astronomical Democratic voter turnout. The network continues to falsely suggest that there are valid questions about the way the election was run, and the racist piece of shit Carlson has claimed that the FBI, CIA are being used to change political outcomes. No, they're not. They may play word games that allow them to insinuate the big lie rather than state it outright, but the insurrection-friendly message is unmistakable because the Klan insurrection was not friendly. And we should not be fucking surprised in this case. The Foe has only entrenched itself further into the world of right-wing conspiracy theories and fascist rhetoric. If there's one thing that has really emerged from the Dominion court filings, it's this. The faux business model depends entirely on propping up the flattering lies that Trump and his sycophants tell about themselves. As Rupert Murdoch said in an email to Paul Ryan, the network is scared to lose viewers. Keeping those viewers means saying all these false things that those GOP voters want to hear. If anything, the pressure on the network is to spin falsehoods has only grown more intense. When Republican voters are exposed to mainstream media, they are regularly reminded of what an embarrassment they are to the nation, which they are. And from the Capitol rioters getting convicted to Trump's incessant whining to Georgia's Marjorie Trader Greene's latest crazy antics, the reality-based worldview of Republican is accurately they're a bunch of fascist fucking nutcases. But Foe is right there to stroke their hair and soothe their egos, feeding them a steady stream of reassuring lies that it's everyone else who is crazy. That message is, as Foe profit margin shows, is irresistible to Trump voters. That's why everyone who isn't in their cult is reasonably alarmed over reports that current GOP Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy has granted access to the security footage of the Capitol riot to the racist piece of shit Tucker Carlson. It's not that anyone is worried there's footage that could somehow exonerate the Klan insurrectionists. It's that it's beyond all doubt that the racist piece of shit Carlson's goal, is to edit and distort the footage or even just make false claims about it. Now already there's one accused Klan insurrectionist who's exploiting the situation to delay his trial. And there will likely be more who think, with McCarthy and Carlson on their side, that they can muddy the waters enough to get away with attempting to overthrow that government. Now Carlson knows what his audience wants. The racist piece of shit Carlson lies. He lies and spreads conspiracy theories, and that's what the audience wants. As these Dominion filings show, he's extremely eager to give it to them, and then he clearly hasn't changed his tune one fucking bit, and neither has Foe, which has only grown more extreme in its propaganda since the January 6th Klan attack 2 years ago. So if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. Go ahead, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.